Thank you to our subscribers who asked for a tour of the galley. So we're going in depth on a Jeanneau Mary Fisher NC 1095. Welcome aboard, sweetest thing. I'm Dave. We're going to be going into the galley. We're going to be looking at all the size and the space of the options on board a Jeanneau NC 1095, as well as some of the storage solutions that we've picked up over the last year or so on board. So we want to show you what we've learned. So let's go in depth into the galley. The galley of the Jeanneau NC 1095 is really thoughtfully laid out, and it's kind of in line with what we see throughout the boat. There's some really smart design that goes into how things are put together, where things are, how thoughtful, kind of maximizing the use of space is. Some of the finishes are not as durable as you're going to find on some more expensive boats, but they're really well thought out, and what you have is really usable. And one of the great things that we love, when you come in and out, you have the galley here, so you have the fridge, you have access to everything, whether you're on board in the salon or you're out in the cockpit. You can cook and be able to serve and enjoy time with guests. And also when you're cooking, the view outside on a beautiful day can be just fantastic. It's just the window, the space, the light makes the cooking here really enjoyable, and you have the great space. The countertops, they're an engineered stone, so they're easy to clean and they're very durable. They're also hard, so you don't want to drop any glassware on them. We try and avoid having glass on board the boat. The total space is good. We have about 5.9 or 5 feet 9 inches. It's about 1.7 meters. And then we have about 2 foot wide space. So we have good space at 63 centimeters. And there's covers for our sink. There's covers for our stove on the stovetop. So overall, large prep area or banquet area if you have a couple people on board and you've already cooked. But when you're cooking, you're able to take these covers off and you're able to really kind of maximize the use. So over at the sink, take them off the stove. So we take these off and we'll slide them behind the seat just so they're out of the way. There's not direct storage for them, but they're in place there. So along with storing the cooktops, we're able to grab the one outlet. We have a extension cord on it that is up by the helm. So if you need to plug anything in, it's accessible. It's right in the galley area, but it's one of the 3 outlets on board that the boat comes with. On the Jeanneau 1095, you can have electric cooktop or a propane. We went with a propane in part so we don't need to run the generator when we're cooking. Both have two burners. Take up the same amount of space roughly. You have a propane tank outside if you have the propane. For those that don't know, I used to be a boat captain, worked in the Keys, and I spent years working behind a desk after doing that, and I'm relearning about boating. But one of my favorite memories when I did work in the Bahamas was that eating out with the generator off, anchored out, beautiful view, silent, just the wind. It's one of the reasons we went with the propane tank. We really enjoy it. If you're at the dock a lot, it's easier to just plug in and cook. So it all depends on how you're going to use the boat, what makes the most sense for you. For us, we really like the propane stove. When you have the propane stove, you do still have cook space over to the side. So with the covers off, you can both use the salon table, but you have this 2 foot by 2 foot, roughly 63 by centimeter space where you can still prep. Anyone that's moved up from an 895 or has an 895, the really big differences are that extra cook space for prep area and also the drawer on board. But that's one of those big, when you're going from the 895 to the 1095, more space for cooking along with all the storage, but just that functional space. The stainless steel sink is located all the way to the aft. It's got hot, cold water. The water is really hot on board with the water heater. Drains over the side. It's gray water, but there's no tank on it from this. So it's covered up and accessible for cleaning. Not a ton of space, so you want to clean as you go. On that, there's a cup holder towards the stern. Now let's talk about the storage options in this galley. Above the galley counter itself, we have these great cabinets. They measure about 23 inches or 59 centimeters. The width is 6 3/4 inches or 17 centimeters down at the aft. And then as we go forward, it's around 9 inches in the depth in terms of how deep they go in here. So 23 centimeters. So there's a little bit of tapering that when we look at this opening, it's about 5.5 inches all the way across the opening. So that's 5.5 inches, roughly 14 centimeters. And then when we go from the height It's the highest at the stern. It's about 9 3/4, and it goes down to just over 8 3/4 as you move forward. So there's these two spaces. One of the storage options that we've had, and we repeatedly talk about in our videos, are the Target bins. These bins are really nice because they fit in here and they use space really well. On the port side, above the salon table, this is where we store our cups and plates. This is another storage option. This is a longer one. It's 34 3/8 inches long, about 87, 88 centimeters. And at the stern back here, it's about 5.5 inches deep. As you move forward up here, then we're getting kind of up in that 9 1/4 deep. It has the same height as the other side, about 5 1/4 or 14 centimeters. We have another one of the bins. It holds our wine glasses. And in here, we have more of the non-skid, and we have our cups all bungeed in place. So we've just added an eye hook on here, on each one, and bungee so we can put it in. We have 6 plastic cups, 2 coffee mugs, or 4 coffee mugs and 2 large mugs, non-skid in there to keep things from bouncing around. And there's kind of this slot where the bowls fit in. So everything's kind of neatly contained inside of it. And then this is a power boat. You're going to be on a plane sometimes. You're going to be going over waves. You're going to be going over wakes. So you really need to be conscious of what is your storage like? How secure are the items that you have on board? Between the cabinets on the starboard side, where we normally have our cooking supplies and food, and the cabinets on the port side, these cabinets up top have a really good amount of space. It's one of the many things we love about the 1095. Here's our trash. We're going to show you what we have on board. This is what we use for our storage. There may be other options, but we've just got this 4-inch magazine holder. It holds some of our cleaning supplies, and then a small plastic Bright Room from Target. Just their plastic bin. It fits perfectly. That's why we use those. We've had a couple different solutions over time. This is a little bit tight it's snug on both sides of this, but you can access the trash, and it keeps everything, maximizes the space for storage, keeps it organized. Moving just forward of the trash, you've got the microwave. This is another piece of storage for us that we keep inside here. So this is kind of yes, we use it for cooking, although more for storage than anything else. Underneath the microwave, that's another storage spot. This is where we have some of the largest amount of space on board. So you can see, even with our coffee maker, our plates and cutting boards, our measuring cup, our Magma cookware, our Ninja blender, that there's plenty of space in here for additional storage. So this is a really good spot. It has our appliances and plates, and it's great for additional storage on board. Moving forward, we can go to the refrigerator. It's one of the 2 on board. The second one is down in the second cabin. With both sets of refrigerators, there's just a ton of perishable storage on board. But wait, there's more. As we move under the salon table, we have this wine storage. We have a bottle in here. We keep these sleeves on board. In this, we also keep one of our fire extinguishers and some other supplies, so we can store dry goods. In the center of the galley, we have some additional storage. We keep some non-skid that we use on the couch, our dinghy numbers, the Swiffer for picking up the corners. But there's this deep space that goes down. It's kind of longer and deeper. It's 19 3/4 inches deep, 18 1/4 wide, about 47 centimeters wide, about 50 deep, and 7 3/4 wide, which is just about 9 centimeters. So this is dry goods, shopping bags, non-skid. The storages go down here. We normally use this space for things we're going to store while we're underway and not have to get in and out, because once things are down in that deeper compartment, they're just a little bit more difficult to get in and out. The galley drawer is about 18 inches by 18 inches. It's about 46 centimeters, 47 centimeters. And it has storage for all of our utensils. We got our knives. This is basically the junk drawer that has a combination of boat supplies, like our water fill lines, as well as our utensils and our cooking utensils. For knives and forks, we will normally have them wrapped in towels. That's underway, keep it from clanging. We have one small cutting board here. We have some others down below. But this has all the utensils you're going to need on board in terms of basics for cooking. They all fit in the drawer, and it's a really good amount of space. The fact that there's still left over a junk drawer after you have the basics for cooking taken care of is a really great feature. And we worried that it wouldn't be enough space, but it's plenty of space on board, and it's easily accessible when you're cooking or when you need to use some of the items that are used outside.